Why do entrepreneurs risk failure to go into business? We're going to answer that question in this video. Okay, let's rock. Let's talk about why do these crazy people risk it all to go into business? They risk failure, literally. The short answer is there's always a huge pot of gold potentially at the end of the rainbow. Huge success rewards the potential successful people in business, and it's very enticing. People want to have an opportunity to make it big. And it's the whole no pain, no gain concept, right? You don't get anywhere without taking a risk. And so there has to be an element of risk. And a lot of times, people actually take those risks because they get just so tired of their existing day job, or they get tired of their existing life. They say, you know what? I've been working my tail off for all these years, and I'm not getting anywhere, and I'm tired of not being in charge. I want to make a difference. I want to start my own business, and so they do that, okay? So a lot of people do it, they just get compelled to do it. They've had it, and they know that they can do it. They're already working just as hard. They're a workaholic anyway, and they're working their tail off just to, obviously impress their boss and make their numbers. They get smart. They say, hey, if I do this myself, I can actually do really well. But the short answer of why people risk failure to go into business, in my opinion, is it's probably the perceived idea of happiness. They found their passion. They found something they absolutely love. And they tell themselves, if I don't try this, if I don't go into this, I'll never forgive myself. I mean, I had that exact epiphany nearly 10 years ago before I got into the gold business. I remember just watching it. The prices of gold were going up. I was hearing stories because a lot of people in our collectible business were into coins and things like that. And all I was hearing was gold is great, gold this, gold that. And here I am trying to get into the business, scratching and clawing. And I remember the tipping point of what made me absolutely have to get into the gold business was I looked at myself in the mirror. This is no joke. And I remember kind of doing one of these and saying, look at you. If you don't try this, you will regret this for the rest of your life. And I remember that moment because it's like I could see myself at 90 years old on a rocking chair, sitting on a front porch and looking back and thinking about my life and what I could have done or what I didn't try. And I said to myself, wow, in the end, I really wish I would have taken more risks, kind of that whole, no glory without the massive potential pain, right? And in order to get that glory, I had to have taken that risk. But I just played it conservative. I didn't try. And I really wish I had have. It would have been a lot more exciting. It would have been a lot more fun. At least if I failed, I tried, right? That's the thing. You can't succeed if you don't try. If you want to make big success, could you imagine some of the most successful people in the business world? You can think of 100 of them if you just start writing them down. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're thinking like big corporate companies like, the Apples, Microsofts, Dells, Amazons, eBays, whatever, to even the, fast food franchises and Nike and, these companies that are just huge companies. Could you imagine if the founder or founders of those companies just said, let's not try it. It's too risky. We could lose everything. Here's the deal. This is what I want to tell you, that if you're thinking about it and you're scared, that's okay. All right. It's okay to be scared. Absolutely fine to be scared. Every time I get into a new venture or think of a new idea, it gives me anxiety. That's okay. That's normal. But the courage comes in when you finally just decide to make that big leap forward and you're like, I don't care. That whole slow motion, and you just move forward. You take that big monster step and you say, I'll never forgive myself if I don't give this a shot. I'm going to try. But the best part is you get the decision to give it your all. If you turn into a workaholic into your business and you give it your all and you outwork anybody in that industry and you sit there and you learn daily and you push through, and no matter what gets thrown your way, you're like, out, whatever, we're going to make this happen, and you keep going, you're going to survive. Regardless of what people tell you, don't listen. Remember, the thing that I keep telling everybody, that I want everybody to understand, Do not let outside forces and other people dictate what you are going to do with your life. You got one life to live. This is your life. As long as you're doing something that's good, right? Then go for it, right? If you're an adult, what are you waiting on? Because somebody you knew from high school back in the day or college is laughing at you, it's a silly idea, whatever. If you believe in your heart that you can make that happen, go make it happen. Because the beautiful thing about business is you create your own success. You create your own reality. You create it. You can work 16 hours a day if you want to. And imagine the guy that owns the same business that's only working 7 or 8 hours a day. You're going to crush him over time. And even if you make mistakes, you're going to outwork it and make up for it. It's so simple. So I always like to use the example of a stream and having a rock in the stream, right? And trying to act like there's a battle going on where the stream is just simply trying to push the rock out of the way. And no matter how hard the stream keeps going down the stream, it doesn't push the rock out of the way. But if this continues and the stream doesn't run dry, okay, we don't have a huge drought or something like that. If it keeps going over the course of a year, 5 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, eventually, who's going to win? The stream or the rock? The answer is the stream. But why? That's what's important from the story. The stream wins because of its persistence, its relentless ability to just keep flowing and pushing anything that's in its way out of the way. And eventually it wins. And that needs to be you. With persistence will come success. These are huge, huge concepts that were thought of many years ago, put into books like Napoleon Hill. These are things that you have to understand. So understand that risk and failure, yes, you can lose it all. You might have to start over. That's okay. There's plenty of the most successful people in the world that if you hear their stories, they had to start over. They lost everything. And then they started over. But what they learned, they gained experience. They learned from their mistakes. They learned from their lessons, and they continued to push forward. It's that old example I always give, like if there's 100 possibilities to get to success, meaning if you tried something and it didn't work, you could cross one of those possibilities off the board. And if you tried a second thing, you cross that one off the board, okay? If it took 100 tries to become successful, all you got to do is try 100 times. That's all you got to do, and then you're going to be successful. And the reason that most people don't become successful is they give up. They usually give up when the going gets tough. That's when people give up. Some business owners don't even want to fight in business when it gets tough. They just want to get out and take easy street and find loopholes in the system and ways to get out without having to get sued, or ways to get out of financial obligations without having honor and whatever. Some people are like that. And then there's people that are like, no, I'm going to push forward. I'm going to honor everything I did. This is, business is like a baseball game. Not every single inning is a winner, right? Sometimes you shut out your competition and you win 10-0. And sometimes you score no runs and they score 5 runs in the first inning. It doesn't mean that you lose the game. What matters is at the end of the game is what the score is at the end of the game, okay? Meaning at the end of your life. So just because you lost the first inning, maybe in the first business or the first 6 months of the business, doesn't mean you're going to be a loser. Overall, you're learning along the way, and those lessons are absolutely priceless. So back to, why do entrepreneurs, business owners, people that love business, why do they risk failure to go into business? A lot of times they do it because of pride. They do it because of the enjoyment. They do it because of the possibilities. I mean, a lot of times people think exotic cars, private jets, islands, right? That's kind of what you think of, like this free life where you're just mega wealthy, mega rich. And the truth is, a lot of people risk it for those reasons. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's very enticing to know, wow, if I get into a business, sky's the limit. And that's the truth, because if you're working for somebody, you generally have a limit. I mean, you could be like the CEO of a massive corporation and get paid really well. Those people make $10 million a year, or $25 million a year, whatever, really high salaries or whatever. But theoretically, if you started a business like a clothing line and you become the next Versace, right? Or the next FUBU, like Damon, right? If you become that, you could potentially make billions of dollars. For sure, you can make millions. That's easy. I mean, your sales will be in the millions for sure, potentially, but you could maybe make millions of dollars. So that's what's enticing. That's the true reason why people risk, it's the whole risk versus the reward. I've got to risk something to get somewhere. Okay, everybody, I hope you found this information helpful. I hope it, stimulated your mind a little bit and brought some new insight. If you liked it, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe. If you've got any comments, please leave me your comments. I would love to hear from you. And don't forget, in business, just like in life, things get tough. And no matter how hard it gets, never quit, never give up, push hard, and be the hustler.